Hey guys, it is August the 20th, 2025, and I hope everybody's been having a wonderful day so far today. It is another hot day here in South Carolina. It is blazing hot out here. And they're also saying that we might get some more rain today. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. And on top of it, hurricane season has started again. I really hope that we don't get a hurricane here in South Carolina again this year. I don't want to deal with all of that. I did go to the gas station today and I filled up all of my empty gas tanks. I filled up my diesel tank for my tractor in case I got to get that out. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm prepared. You know, we've got a generator here, and last year we didn't have power for like 2 weeks. So we had to use the generator the whole entire time. It was a mess. I had drop cords all around my house. We were tripping all over them. Everybody was sleeping in my bedroom, in my room, because we had a little window unit AC that we put in there. It was really, really hot too. That was just a sucky time last year. For any of you guys that have been here since then, you guys remember the videos that I posted up of all the stuff that happened around here. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about today is just ways to combat cravings. You know, it's one of those things that, you know, even if you're not even new to sobriety, you know, we still get cravings. But especially for the people here that are new to sobriety, you know, you're just starting out, you know, this is something that's new to you. Maybe you've gotten sober before, but not for very long. And this is something, you know, you're trying to turn your life around right now and get sober. And, you know, you keep getting those cravings. It's one of the hardest things to get through is the cravings in the beginning and the withdrawal that you're dealing with, because you know that if you go get a drink, those feelings are all going to go away. You'll feel better. You're not going to, you know, have this feeling like you're about to come out of your skin. You know, it just, you know that it's going to take all of that away. But that's not the way to go. You know, this is the time to keep pushing forward. Now, I say this, and I just want to throw this in. You know, if you are attempting to get sober, please speak with a doctor first. Don't just dive into this and go cold turkey. You've been drinking every day for the past 5 years, and now you want to try to quit. You know, quitting alcohol or benzodiazepines abruptly can be life-threatening, so please speak with a doctor first. But if you already spoke with a doctor, you're in the beginning of your sobriety, and you've been dealing with cravings really bad, that's all I wanted to talk about today. And this could apply to anybody, you know, even if you've got, you know, a couple years of sobriety, you know, those cravings still come up. And the reason that I thought about doing this video today is yesterday, I started having some really bad cravings yesterday. Why? I don't know. And I felt so nauseous, but I was kind of having a bad day and just those thoughts came up. But what I did do, because I was wondering to myself, I haven't really been eating that much over the past couple of days. And I was like, maybe if I eat something that will, you know, help me, you know, just to put something in my stomach, because my stomach's been really empty. So I tried to eat something yesterday. I had some fruit. And as soon as I had that fruit, the feeling of wanting to drink anything went completely away because I was full. Now, it didn't take much for me to get there because, you know, I don't eat a lot of food. So, you know, getting full, it does not take me long to do. But like I said, yesterday evening or afternoon, I ate something and those feelings went away. And as I was sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I'm really full right now. And I'm also not thinking about drinking. Like that full belly, I know, even if I wanted to, there's no way I could drink, even if I wanted to. When you've got a full belly of food, it does not matter. You can try to drink all you want. It's not going to work. And like I said, I had that fruit yesterday afternoon and the craving went away just like that. I mean, snap a finger and it was gone because I knew deep down inside that even if I wanted to have a drink, I was too full to do it. So that's what gave me the idea for today. And that's what I want to talk about. And, you know, like I said, the very first thing that I have on this list is if you're getting a craving, eat something. You eat something, you get a full belly, you're not going to be thinking about drinking. Even if you wanted to, like I said, you go to the store and buy a bottle of liquor and go back home, you're too full. You can't drink it. You're not going to be able to drink enough to get drunk with a full belly. It's just impossible. I guess not impossible, but it would take a lot for you to get there. And once you're full, you got that full belly, you just don't want to drink anymore. So I think that's a really good one to combat the cravings. Then the next one that I have on the list is to drink soda water. Or a coffee or something like that. Maybe going to the gas station if you're on your way home and you're getting that feeling. Maybe stop in the gas station. When I was in the beginning of my sobriety, I would stop by the gas station and just pick out a cool drink. It was something that I gave myself, like a little treat at the end of the day. I'd walk into the gas station and find some kind of sugar-free whatever. Maybe sugar-free Gatorade or a sugar-free Mountain Dew or something like that. That was just my present to myself on the way home from work. I just wanted something, to get that little bit of a dopamine rush. It was a reward for a long day's work. I'd go into the gas station, pick out some cool drink, maybe a coconut water or something like that, and on my way home I would drink it. But I think soda waters are another really great way, especially if you're a beer drinker. Those soda waters, man, it's just like drinking a beer, especially if you've got those bad boys on ice. As soon as you crack it, you chug one of those, you are not going to want to have a drink after that. You're going to get that burn in the back of your throat, that you're going to be able to burp after it. It's just, it mimics that feeling of chugging a beer. And like I said, if you're a beer drinker and you're getting that feeling, especially if you're in the beginning of your sobriety, maybe go to the store, buy yourself a case of those bubblies or something like that, and keep them on ice in your vehicle. Have one of those little teeny coolers in your car, keep them on ice. You're starting to get that feeling, grab one and chug it. They work really, really well, and there's no calories in them. It's just carbonated water. So I think those are great. And like I said, coffee's another really good one. When I start getting that feeling, I'll just make myself a cup of coffee. As soon as I start drinking my coffee, I'm good to go. Like I said, I drink a lot of coffee. It's my favorite beverage now to drink. I just really like it a lot, and it helps me to get past those cravings whenever I start to feel that way. I have bad days too. I have days where I feel like everything's falling apart. I have those days where I just don't know where to turn, what to do next. And the first thing that comes to my mind is my old best friend, because that person was always there for me. So So the next thing that I have on my list is go for a walk. Going for a walk is a great way to get rid of cravings. And not only that, you're getting some exercise. It's not super hard on the body. It's an easy way to get exercise. I walk all the time. I try to stay as close as I can to my house, and I made a bunch of trails out here that I can walk on. I do have some property, and I stay close to home because, if I start feeling bad, I can just go inside. But if you're not feeling well enough, if you're laying in the bed right now dealing with, you just got out of the hospital, found out you had cirrhosis, or you just had pancreatitis or something like that, I understand. It's hard to get up and do things. But at some point, you got to get up. You got to try to walk around, even if it's just around the house. Maybe walk out the front door and sit on your front porch. Maybe go walk to the end of your driveway and just get the mail every day. But just getting outside, getting into the sun, it makes you feel better. Just going for a walk, it helps clear your mind. It gives you a minute to think about it. If you start getting that craving, go for a walk and then really think about that next move. Is this a really good move? What's going to happen if you go pick up that drink? Who's going to get upset? Who are you going to hurt? Other than just yourself, who's going to get hurt here? Think about that. Think about your family, and if you have kids and your spouse and your friends, anybody. Who is this going to affect? Because it doesn't just affect us. It affects everyone else around us. Not only does it affect our family, it affects our community when we drink. Addiction affects everyone around us. The people that love us, it affects them because they hurt for us. They want us to change. They want us to get our life back. They don't like seeing us in this state. So just think about that. Go for a walk and really, really think about what you're about to do. And I'll guarantee you go for a 10-minute walk and really think about it. You're going to change your mind. Another one's work out. You know, if you got like a little gym in your home, or maybe go to the gym and just lift some weights if you're physically capable to do so. I used to lift weights back in the day. I used to love lifting weights. It was a great way to clear my mind. If I was having a bad day, I'd go to the gym, lift, and after I got done, I felt great. I can't do that anymore. But if I could, I would. I would be at the gym every single day. I just can't do it anymore. And it's a really, really good way to get your body back in shape, start looking good, and you're clearing your head. You're getting in there, just working out, listen to some music, which is another one to do too. You know, maybe just turn some music on and chill out. Find some music that really calms you down. I like to listen to jazz, classical music when I'm starting to feel that way. Music can really change our mood. If you're listening to like, some kind of rage metal or something like that, that's going to get you all hyped up. But if you're listening to something like, classical orchestra music, or some jazz music, or, maybe some country music, or some old rock and roll or something like that, something that's just going to kind of calm you down, bring you back to base level. It just helps out a lot. The next one I've got here is read a book. Just grab a book and sit down and start reading it. Sit down, read for 30 minutes. Maybe tell yourself, I'm going to read 20 pages. And after you sit down and you read 20 pages of that book, or you read for half an hour, or you read for an hour, or whatever it is, you've put all of your focus into this book. Your whole entire concentration goes into that, because you really have to think about what you're reading. You've got to imagine everything in your mind. It really does help pull you out of reality and put you into another one. And when you go into this other reality, inside that book, it's going to break you away from those thoughts of wanting to drink again. The next one that I have here is a hobby. Find a hobby. If you don't have a hobby yet, find one. It's one of the best things that you can do for yourself in sobriety. It's something to get excited about. And it doesn't have to be anything expensive. I mean, you could take a pocket knife and a piece of wood and start carving something. You could start carving little pieces of jewelry, or maybe little figurines. Like I said, it does not have to be expensive. You could go out and find some clay and start playing around with some clay, make a pottery, or, start making jewelry. Or maybe you could start making knives. Maybe you get some old files that you have laying around, and maybe you have enough equipment like... it doesn't take much to make a knife. I've watched a whole bunch of videos on YouTube about it. Have I done one yet? No, I haven't, but it looks like it's feasible to do. I've always wanted to do it, and if you've got a couple of files and enough of the, stuff in your shop, you can make a really nice knife like that. Maybe get into knife making. There's just all kinds of things that you could do. But finding a hobby, painting. It could be just reading books, cooking, whatever it is that you get into. But having a hobby is so important, I believe, because it gives us something to be excited about. It gives us something to look forward to. And it gives us something to do. Like I said, you don't have to pick an expensive hobby. Can you pick an expensive hobby? Absolutely. You can do anything you want. If you want to go snowboarding, skiing, whatever it is, just find something to get into that's going to get you excited about waking up in the morning, get you excited about doing stuff. It's going to give you that dopamine rush that you're looking for. It's going to give you that feeling of, I accomplished something, which is a really good feeling. And I think it's a great one. Having a hobby, I think, is a must in sobriety. And like I said, it doesn't have to be anything expensive. It doesn't have to be anything huge. It could be something very small. I mean, it could be your hobby is braiding pine straw. I mean, seriously. There are people that take pine straw, and I've got pine straw. There's so much pine straw out here, it's ridiculous. I didn't know that you could actually sell pine straw. We talked about actually selling it at one point, because there's people selling this stuff on Etsy, I think. And they're selling like bundles of it for like $20. It's insane. And they want this long pine straw, long leaf needles. But there's people that take these, the pine straw, and they braid it into baskets. All kinds of cool stuff. They braid this stuff into like coasters for cups. Crazy stuff just with pine straw. And this stuff's free. You can go out somewhere and pick up a bunch of pine straw and start braiding it. And making baskets or whatever it is that you're into. Maybe you could start going out into the woods and picking out leaves and putting them in between pieces of paper and, looking for every type of leaf that's in your area, or going rock hunting, or maybe going arrowhead hunting. These are all things that they don't cost money. When I was a kid, where we used to live at, one of the places we lived, I used to find arrowheads all the time. There was a creek back behind our house. This was in North Carolina. But we had a creek behind our house. We had a big mound of dirt in the front. We used to find arrowheads almost every single day when we were out there. I've got a bunch. Maybe one day I'll show you guys. But, something like that, maybe look into where there's some arrowheads around you and go look for them. Maybe if you live near the beach, start looking for shells or shark's teeth, or go fishing. There's just a million things. I think a hobby is one of the most important things that we can do for ourselves in sobriety. Another one's writing in your journal, another important thing. I think journaling is very important, just writing down how you feel that day, writing down what triggered you. Why did you get that feeling? Keeping track of all of that stuff, I got into a fight with my spouse today, immediately thought about drinking. Okay, go look through your journal, and every single page you see, got into a fight with my spouse, got into a fight with my spouse, got into a fight with my spouse, got triggered. Okay, now you know what's causing you to want to drink. And maybe it's time to try to maybe figure something out, to prevent those fights from happening. How can you prevent it? Is it something that you're saying? Is it something they're saying? Is it time for a conversation? I'm just saying, writing in a journal is very important, and especially writing down how you're feeling every single day. It just helps to get those feelings off of your chest and onto paper. It really does help to feel better. And emotions can make us want to drink. If we're having a really bad day, we're really sad, we're really angry, or we're just like having a mediocre day and nothing's going on, we're just bored. Boredom is a huge reason that we relapse, because we get bored, we don't know what to do with ourselves. We start thinking about either drinking or using, because that's how we entertained ourselves in the past. We've got to get past that. It's time to move past using alcohol or a substance as a way to kill time. We can find other things to do. And I think writing in a journal is a really good one. Stay away from people who are drinking. If you know that there's somebody invited you to a party this weekend and you know that everybody there is going to be drinking, do you think it's a good idea to go? You're 2 weeks into sobriety, you get invited to a party, and they're going to be having a kegger. Do you think it's a good idea to show up to that? Do you really want to push your luck with this? It's too much temptation. I don't even go to stuff like that. I don't want to be around it. It's too tempting. All it would take is somebody to hand me something, or I accidentally pick up something and drink it, think it's my soda. All it would take is one sip, and I would be gone. It would be over. If I had a sip, it would be like, well, I did it. I didn't mean to, but I did it. Well, I drank. At this point, now what? It's one of those things. I used to always tell myself, well, I already did it now, so I might as well drink for the rest of the day and enjoy this alcohol. And then 5 years down the road, I'm going, what happened to that last time I got sober? Just staying away from people who are drinking, staying away from people who are triggering. Somebody you used to hang around with and y'all used to drink all the time. Do you really think it's a good idea to go hang out with them again? Tell yourself that this will pass, because it will. When you start to get that feeling, sit in it. Try to think about something else, but tell yourself, this is going to pass. This feeling will go away. I'm not going to feel like this forever. I'm going to wait this out. Stay where you're at. Don't hop in your car and drive straight to the store. Just wait a few minutes. It's going to go away. And you're going to be so happy with yourself that you didn't give in to that thought. Next one is know your triggers. People, places, and things. That's a pretty self-explanatory one right there. Track your cravings. so you can be more aware of when they pop up, like I was talking about with journaling. It's just really important to track that. If every single time you get triggered, it's on your way home from work when you pass by a gas station that you used to stop at all the time, maybe it's time to find another route home. If every time you see that gas station on your way home, you get the thought of drinking alcohol, maybe it's time to move, find another way. Maybe it takes 2 more minutes to get home, but you're getting away from that gas station and that triggering thought. Avoid tempting situations. That's another pretty self-explanatory one. If you know they're going over to your friend's house, they're going to be drinking over there once again, don't go. Just anything that's going to be a tempting situation. Like I said, if somebody's having a party, they're having a block party in your neighborhood tomorrow night, do you really think it's a good idea to go to that? Just avoid the tempting situations. Maybe it's an ex that you used to drink with and they just invited you over to hang out. Do you really want to go over there? Y'all used to drink all the time back in the day. Do you think it's a good idea to reconnect right now? Probably not. Remind yourself why you're sober. Really remind yourself about that. Why did I do this? What was my life like before I got sober? What was it like waking up every single day feeling like crap? Waking up every morning and throwing up. Waking up every morning with a pounding headache. Waking up every single morning and your stomach hurts and you've got diarrhea again. And you go to work, you didn't have time to take a shower, so now you've got mud butt when you go to work. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be gross or anything, but it's just for real. If I go to the bathroom, I want to take a shower before I go to work for 10 hours, 12 hours for that day. And sometimes you just can't, especially if you've got diarrhea, which I used to have every single day. We'd be in the middle of a lunch rush and I'd be like, guys, I got to go. I got to go to the bathroom. I couldn't hold it. Every single day, same thing. It's just craziness. But once again, remind yourself why you got sober. Is it for your, we want to do it for ourselves, but we also, we don't want our kids seeing us drinking anymore and being intoxicated. We don't want our spouse to have to deal with it anymore. We're spending all of our money on it. Whatever it is, just remind yourself why you did it. Are you tired of waking up feeling like trash every single morning? Whatever it is, just remind yourself why you got sober. Talk to someone you can trust. This is a really important one. Whoever that may be, just somebody that you can trust. When you start to get those feelings, give them a call, go to their house, text them, whatever it takes. But find somebody that you can trust, that you can talk to, and let them know, hey, I might give you a call, here and there whenever I get a craving. Is that okay? And maybe you can help talk me off the ledge. And, of course, most people are going to say, yeah, absolutely. Especially the people that care about us and they want to see us get our lives back. Find someone that you can speak to, that when you really start to get that feeling, you can just pick the phone up, give them a call, and they can help you through it. I've had to do that multiple times. As a matter of fact, I've never spoken about this before, but I've had to call a couple of people. As a matter of fact, I had to call Slayer one day and talk to him. I didn't have anybody at the moment to speak to, and nobody that would really understand what was going on. And I shot Slayer a text, and we spoke on the phone for like 6 hours one night. I was just having a really bad night, and I started thinking about it. And I got on the phone with Slayer, and we just started talking. And like I said, we were on the phone for like 6 hours one night. But he helped me through a really tough night. I knew I could trust him. I knew that he could help me. I knew that he could relate. I knew he understand what I was going through. That's just the honest to God truth, guys. Like I said, I get those cravings too. Sometimes they're really strong. And I know what it would do to myself, to my family, everything. I can't help what goes through my mind. I just can't. All I can do is not act on those thoughts. We all get crazy things that go through our heads sometimes. Sometimes it's like, where in the world did that thought come from? And you just move on. You're like, I don't want to think about that ever again. And you just go on to something else. It's not like you sat there and like conjured it up in your head. Just these thoughts pop up sometimes. And the thought of drinking sometimes pops up, especially if I'm having a rough time. If I'm just having a bad day. I get sad sometimes. I get depressed. I have bad days. And when I have those bad days, I think about drinking too. I just don't act on it. The next one is meditation. You know, I've never been able to meditate. It's just something, I can't do it. I cannot get thoughts out of my mind. I cannot stop thinking. I'll sit there and try to meditate, and then I'm thinking about the fact that I'm trying to meditate and I need to stop thinking about stuff. I just can't do it. I cannot shut my mind down, but maybe you can. And another one too is yoga. You know, meditation, yoga, they kind of go hand in hand. But yoga is one of those things that people swear by. You know, it could really help you out a lot. It kind of goes back to the working out. But yoga is one of those things, you know, it's not just the body. There's also the mind involved in that. Trying to hold these poses. It's difficult. And, you know, difficult tasks like that, when you're really focused on something, it's going to take your brain away from those thoughts. And you're going to start thinking about other things, like I need to hold this pose, or I don't want to fall down, and whatever it is. Or, you know, like I said, you're going through meditation and you're not thinking about anything at all. Playing a video game is another one. You know, I play video games with my kids every once in a while. They'll get me to come downstairs and play with them. I don't play video games a lot. It's just not really my thing, but there's a lot of people that do enjoy video games. And if that's your thing, then, you know, maybe play some video games. It's a great option. You know, at least you're not drinking or using. Sorry, guys, it's a little bit hot out here again today. Another one I have here is watch a movie. You know, keep like your favorite movie laying on top of the DVD player for those moments that you start feeling that way. That way, when you start getting a really strong craving, slap that DVD in that DVD player, hit play, sit on your couch and just check it out. Sit down and watch it. It could really help pull your mind away from thinking about whatever it is that you're thinking about going back to. Find another way to get a dopamine rush. Because that's really what we're looking for. We're just looking for dopamine. We want that dopamine hit. And, you know, it could be anything. It could be going for a jog, like I said, going for a walk. Maybe going and getting some ice cream. Maybe going and getting a milkshake or a slushie, or going and getting something really good to eat. Making something really cool can give you a really cool dopamine rush too. You know, you just finished some really neat project. You feel great about yourself that you accomplished it. It'll make you feel good about yourself. Try to find things that'll make you feel good about you, make you proud of yourself. It's going to give you a dopamine rush, whatever that is. Like I said, going to the gym, maybe going to the movie theater. I don't know. The last but not least that I have here is the medication. You know, maybe speak to your doctor. If you've tried all these things, nothing seems to work, you just cannot get sober, speak to your doctor about medications. There are certain medications that they could prescribe to you. Naltrexone is one of them. I've talked to a lot of people on here that it's been very beneficial for them. It's helped change their lives. Some people don't like it all that much. Most of the people that I've spoken to about naltrexone really like it a lot. There's other ones too, like Antabuse. You know, once again, that's one of those things, you get sick when you drink. I don't know. I haven't heard the greatest things about that, but there are some other medications too that the doctors can give you to help you through your beginning stages of going through the withdrawal. You know, they can help you through it, like I said, with a medical detox. So just speaking to a doctor is really important. But once again, if you tried over and over and over again, nothing's working, maybe it's time to try some medication. It might be the thing that you're looking for. But, you know, once again, I just wanted to talk about some ways to get past the cravings, things that you can do. You know, at the end of the day, we're trying to change our lives. We're trying to get our lives back. We're trying to get away from that, you know, that whole being controlled by whatever it is. You know, every single thought goes towards it. You know, if it's, let's say it's alcohol, just all day long, all you're thinking about from the moment that you wake up in the morning is, I need to get a drink. And then you're on your way to work and you're like, man, it'd be nice to have a beer before I go in there. And then all day long you're at work, all you're thinking about is, how much longer do I have until I get off because I'm ready to drink? Or how much longer until lunch so I can leave and run to the gas station, grab a couple of tall boys, slam those on the way back to work, or while I sit in the parking lot lot. Come into work. Then you're trying to mask the smell of the alcohol in your breath, so you're putting mints in your mouth. You don't want to speak to the boss. You're talking sideways so they can't smell your breath. Then it's coming up 5 o'clock and you keep looking at your watch. How much longer till I get off? How much longer till I get off? Because all you want to do is drink. And then as soon as you get off, I got to stop by the liquor store. I got to stop and get this. I got to stop and get that. And then you're mixing a drink in your vehicle because you can't even wait to get home. And then you get home and then you just drink all night long to the point where you black out and you wake up the next morning. You don't remember anything that happened the night before at all. It's craziness. So guys, the point to today's video, like I said, is I wanted to come up with a list of things that you could do to try to combat those cravings when you start to get them. I know how difficult that it can be. It's not easy. But here are some things, that can help you through these tough times. I know that they work. I've used them for myself. I've spoken to tons of other people who have used these exact things as well. But I think one of the most important things that we can do, like I said, I don't remember what number it was on this list, but remind yourself why you're doing this. Why are you sober now? Why did you get sober? You wanted to change your life or whatever. You wanted your kids to be proud of you. You want your spouse to be proud of you. You want to be proud of yourself. You're tired of living this life. You want to succeed with your job. Whatever it is, just tell yourself, remind yourself when you get those cravings, why did I start this to begin with? Why did I try to get sober? Why am I trying to go through this hard stuff right now? Remind yourself why you did that. And I think that's one of the most important things that you can do. Because when you're getting those thoughts, you're really thinking about going back and having a drink, you remind yourself and say, I can't do this to my children. I just can't. It's time to go for a walk. I'm tired of my kids seeing me bumping into the walls every single night. I'm tired of them hearing me fighting with my spouse because I'm wasted drunk again. That's why I got sober. And I'm going to stay sober today. Because at the end of the day, it's one day at a time. Sometimes it's 1 minute at a time in the beginning. It's tough. It's hard. But we can do it. Push through it. Keep swimming. And tomorrow's a brand new day. Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not even here yet, but we do have this moment right now to make the decision not to drink or not to use whatever it is. Guys, let's stay sober one more day. Just today. We'll worry about tomorrow when it gets here. But for today, let's stay sober. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. And until tomorrow, I will see you all then. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I love you guys so much. And thank you so much for being here, everybody. I really, really do appreciate it. And until tomorrow, I will see you guys then. Y'all have a great rest of your day.